Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Horse Geeks podcast, where we look at horses and riding from the inside out. I'm Kirsten Nelsen, professional horse trainer, and with me is my co-host, Deb Romero, certified Alexander Technique instructor. And today's topic, which I just sprung on Deb about 1 minute ago, is thumbs and pinky fingers.
Oh, Lord.
Thumbs and pinky fingers. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, obviously it's for people, not horses. Um, but you introduced me to the whole idea of leading with the pinky and how that
Mhm.
connects right into our back, lower back, and sacrum when we think about the pinky. And it makes all the difference when it comes to rein contact,
I
right?
think it does when you finally make that connection of what that means, your writing changes.
But my single lesson from that slip and fall that is still
Oh, we're still on
not
that.
done. We're still on
We're
that.
not done there.
Yeah, I thought I
Okay.
was done. I'm feeling much better. But I,
Yay.
I have this odd muscle soreness that goes into the front part of my shoulder, but I finally figured out it's related to my thumb use.
Oh boy, I can go all over that.
Oh, and I am like I have man hands, right? And so I can win thumb wars all over the place. I have incredibly strong thumbs. And I started to notice that even if I wasn't lifting anything heavy, I was getting really muscle sore. And I started to notice there was this connection from my thumb
Mhm.
right up the kind of inner up top of my arm,
The top of
right
your bicep into your shoulder,
into
kind of.
my
It can even go
shoulder.
across to your clavicle.
It did. That
Oh,
part's
okay.
getting a little easier. But I went, wow, I finally feel what the heck Deb was talking
Mm.
about being thumb oriented.
The thumb-driven society. I swear to
Yeah,
God, I'm going to do a TED talk on that.
it's so, I know, right? Well, today we'll get some practice.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
because all of the muscle soreness I'm still experiencing is a line of muscle soreness
Good
that
way to put
goes,
it.
it's a connected line from
Yes.
just inside the
Yep.
clavicle attachment to the shoulder, right through the
Mm-hmm.
front of my shoulder, down the top of my arm, right to the thumb. Like not the top, kind of the inside top of my arm.
Right.
And I have had, it's actually brought instant relief when I'm carrying out buckets of wet feed for the horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still holding the buckets the same way. I need all 5 digits to pick up,
Right.
two big wet buckets at a time. But I'm just thinking, activate the pinkies. Like let the
Mhm.
pinkies get involved. And it has alleviated that muscle
Very
soreness
good.
considerably. And I
Good
went,
student. Good student.
pain does that, doesn't it? Like
Pain
discomfort.
redirects your
Yeah.
thinking, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
It makes you go, how could I find some relief in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
Because even just using my thumb, and I'm one of those I text with my thumbs rather than single fi
Right.
finger texting. And I noticed even texting, it's like, oh, wow,
Same
I'm
thing.
using that.
Same thing.
Anytime I'm using my
Mm-hmm.
thumb, it's going right up into my shoulder. And it's probably just more obvious because I had the slip and fall.
Exactly.
But I go, so that lesson is not done with me yet because
It's not
now
going to ever be done with you.
I just got obsessed with how that rearranges the muscle use around our
Mm-hmm.
arms
Right.
completely. If we're
Right.
thinking about leading with the pinkies or leading with the thumbs.
And it's everywhere. It's how we grab a doorknob. It's how we get in our car, vacuum. The relationship is if you lead with the thumb biomechanically, the thumb actually attaches at your elbow. I was just on a Facebook group about tennis elbow. So people don't realize that your thumb tendons attach at your elbow.
Wow.
That's how far up the tendon is. So that's why you get tendon elbow or tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, is because you're overstretching, you're overdoing your grip
With the thumb.
with the thumb or your hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending upon what you do. And what people don't realize is the strength of your hand is the middle of the palm, not clenching the fingers.
Really? So
Yeah.
like this part.
So actually,
The
further down, see that crease in your hand
uh-huh.
right across here. So we'll have to do hands on back a chair someday. So it's this grip, not this grip. So it's fingers straight,
Fingers straight.
string. That's your grip,
Oh, you know what?
not the
That doesn't
closing.
hurt. It
That
doesn't
doesn't
hurt.
hurt at all, does it? That's the $1 million answer right
Yeah, because
there.
as soon as I
Yeah.
make a fist and include my thumb, I can feel
Yep.
the
Bingo. It
discomfort
triggers it.
right up my arm.
And that's the
Yeah.
law of biomechanics. So if you think right at your elbows where your finger attaches, so does your bicep. They all
Oh, so
attach
that's the
there.
connection.
That's the connection of fascia, connects to your bicep, goes up across your shoulder to your clavicle, because right below your throat at your clavicle, that's the front attachment of your arm.
Oh, where the little bumps are.
The little bump is. That's a joint, actually. If you take and move your arm
Oh, I
and
know.
put,
Mine's crunchy.
oh, lovely. Gotta, that's another talk.
Mine's crunchy. Yeah.
So anytime we reach thumb driven first, we activate that whole closure contraction into the pec muscles of the front body.
So the whole chest closes
Yep.
in and the shoulders get pulled forward.
The head falls down,
Mm.
all of that is indicated in that movement. So when you go to pick up your reins, if you're thumb driven and you pick them up, you've already closed off this whole mechanism of your chest and your forearms and your biceps.
Right, which whenever the muscles of the human body are shortening inward towards the
Mhm.
center of the body, it creates a pulling sensation to the horse.
A negative, I call it a negative brain contact. It's a pull back
Hmm.
because you've already, and it's the same thing for people sitting at their desks. When they arrive at their desks and they immediately go thumb down to type, you've already set yourself up for failure. But if you arrive palms up and just use the swivel joint in your elbow, you don't activate. So if you put your hands on your desk or whatever you've got in front of you, your table, palms up, and just turn your hands over
From the elbows.
from the elbows. We don't use that joint anymore.
Ah,
Yeah,
that doesn't hurt at all.
there's no activation of that frontal thumb, forearm, bicep, pec. It won't activate. So if people arrive that way at their destination, just pause and inhibit that thumb driven thought.
No, and
It'll,
as soon as I started feeling that chain of discomfort, and it's soft tissue, it's not a joint discomfort or
no,
anything. I'm
no.
feeling a soft tissue connection. And it's like the first question that popped in my mind is, can I use my thumbs less?
That's a good
And
question.
and that brought just that thought. I don't know how it rearranged whatever I was doing that was unconscious, but just the thought, can I use my thumbs less and my other fingers more? And just kind of gently took my attention towards my pinky finger.
Hmm.
I would get instant muscle relief just
Yeah.
from that thought. Not
And
always perfect, but better.
you hit the nail on the head. You have to change your thinking before you can change movement. It's that simple.
Yes, that much
The
I know.
change of
It's-
thought has to happen for movement to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pain or discomfort, like I wouldn't say it's painful, but it's definitely uncomfortable. And that red flag, it's like it just started getting me to think differently. Where can I find relief?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Rather than just reaching for the pain meds or going to the doctor, it's like, what am I doing that's making it hurt sometimes, but not all the
Perfect.
times?
Yeah, and what we don't realize, I really think we innately know how to heal ourselves. I think it's all within us.
Mm,
The information is there. We just have to tap into it and be curious, like we do with our horses. Be curious about asking a different question.
yeah, which is also a learned skill.
Right.
I've learned to do that better and better over the years rather than, why isn't my horse doing what I want?
The Jack Russell comes out. No, that's what Alexander's 3 years of Alexander school teaches you to go,
Hmm.
what
And
could I
that
do
was, I
different?
think, absolutely the most valuable part of taking AT lessons,
Hmm.
Alexander Technique lessons, was just to realize that pause and wait can create a lot of space
Oh, it's
for
huge.
just letting your body figure things out
Hmm.
and use yourself in a way that's either more efficient, less uncomfortable,
Hmm.
a little easier somehow. And when we get busy, that's like the last
Hmm.
thing on the list. So really have to keep pulling it into my awareness, especially when I'm doing routine things like feeding the horses or,
Brushing your
cleaning the,
teeth.
right.
Simple, simple things that we don't. And I know for me, my red flag, my little hamster on the wheel is when I'm doing something and then my thought process goes to, I don't have enough time. I've got too much to do. I better stay on task. And that's my red flashing light in my head to say, okay, you better pause
Yeah.
because the next thing's not going to be good.
The more hurried you get, the more you know you
In my
need to
mind,
pause. Yeah.
yeah, the more I get that red flashing light, I completely switch it to a pause. I might even go do a lie down.
Mm.
I might
Just take a
go
little break.
just to say, hey, I hear what you're saying.
Hmm.
I'm going to go take a break. Even if it's for a minute, I might do a lie down on my yoga mat and say, okay, I hear you, and then move on.
Yeah. And it's the opposite of instinct. I think that's what makes it
Oh,
hard to do
that's
sometimes is
wow.
we're recognizing our own reactiveness or
Yeah,
recognizing our own instinct and consciously interrupting it. And that's what that pause does. It just
huge.
interrupts it.
Interrupt it. Hmm.
Hmm. And
Yep.
then I think intuition can come up to the surface, or at least a slightly better thought than that road we were headed down a second ago.
Right. Or just to remember that there's no right or wrong. It's just the pause that matters.
Right.
Just don't do it the way you did it before.
Right.
That's all. Something else will come up. You get curious, like, oh, I could use the other hand maybe to do that. Let me try that.
I know, like I have an
Hmm.
electric toothbrush, right? So I
There we
go,
go.
I go, Kirsten, it's not going to take any skill to brush your teeth with your left hand. It's an electric toothbrush. It's doing all the work for you.
Amazing.
I know. And it
Well,
still felt awkward, but I went, that I could do. Or like I mix up all the horses' feeds for the week and keep them in a bin on a shelf stacked up.
mhm.
So just reaching with my injured arm was causing some discomfort. And it's like,
Yep.
oh, I could reach with my underused arm, could do a little more. And
Do you know
finding
that
things like that was
that's about
helpful.
90% of my practice
Just use the other
is
arm.
imbalance of the body,
Yeah, because we're all
overusing one side.
and it's the biggest deal when it comes to horse balance too. It's the
Oof.
one-sidedness, it's the crookedness that is
Hmm.
really, it gets in the way of performance or developing balance, probably almost more than horses falling on the forehand. I go because
Ah.
crookedness is hard for us to recognize in ourselves. And
I
so
I just
it's hard to recognize in horses too.
if you're not, I can't imagine if you're not in balance yourself, how could you possibly recognize if a horse was in balance or not?
Yeah, so what I see a lot is if the rider is strong with their right arm, the horse tends to shift weight to the left side and use more muscle resistance on the
Hmm.
right side. And so it becomes a little chicken and egg. Who started it, right? And I
Oh,
go,
yeah.
don't know, don't care, but the horse is not going to find their way out of it without the rider feeling what it should feel like to use yourself left to right symmetrically.
Right.
And what's so interesting is when I help riders adjust in order to be straight, and you know this too, this is why we both carry our phones with us, you feel crooked. Like the
Your
brain,
brain says, oh, no, 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 no.
yeah, your brain says you're crooked, you're going to fall off one side, you're leaning, this can't be right. And so that's how everybody responds to actually using themselves symmetrically.
Yeah, and Alexander called it debauched kinesthesia, is what he called it,
Yeah,
which big words back in the early 1900s.
I love that.
Um, a debauched kinesthetics.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just, yeah, overwhelming when you figure out the connection. And I always say that fascial connection of the pinky, it runs down the back of your forearm, the back, right by your tricep, over your scapula, and down to your sacrum.
I was
That,
just going to ask you to talk about pinkies. Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to talk about pinkies because if you just sit here and start saying, oh my gosh, that's where my arm attaches,
All the way to your low
all
back.
the way to your sacrum.
Hmm.
So that to me is where I should give direction from. That's where my rain contact should be coming from.
Or even lifting feed buckets.
Exactly.
Because I
Or
was like, oh, my arms, I felt if I just focused, I didn't really use my hands all that differently. I just shifted my awareness to my pinkies
mhm,
and sort of imagined that connection through the back of my arm to my low back, sacrum, and pelvis. And it was like, oh, I could carry them from my center more than my arms.
mm, exactly. And I even take that, and because of all the physics we deal with in a day, I send all of that weight back down into the ground mentally
Mm,
because there's a ground reaction force. For every pound you push into the ground, the earth sends that back up at you. It's kind of like watching a cat jump or a deer jump.
they go down
They
before
go
they.
down to and that force into the ground rebounds and sends them up.
Mm.
So thinking about the ground reaction force lifting, and I mean as much lifting as you and I do around the barn all day long.
Oh, the whole farm, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. We wouldn't be able to get through the day if we didn't have better body use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And just sort of learning, it's like it's not like I don't have time to practice. These are repetitive tasks I do every day. And so I go, oh, if I just bring a little bit more awareness into the task,
good
like,
point.
and I'll start to add sending the energy down into the ground. But already I just felt relief on where I was still
Mhm.
straining that muscle connected to my thumb, just thinking about letting my pinkies do more work and my thumb do less work
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
start to become aware of that connection through the backside of my arms, all the way down my back into my sacrum. And now I'm going to add all the way into the ground.
Send it all the way down into the ground, and it's just it's kind of like when we're riding, we forget we have a relationship with gravity. It's remembering, oh, gravity can actually help me here.
Yeah, and it's a constant. I go, it's never going
It
to
is. It's
change. It's
right.
always there. Whether you believe in it or not, it still works.
It still works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So releasing it into the ground, it to me is the ultimate of, transferring energy through the arms, through the back, down into the ground.
Well, and that was, I think, one of the big aha moments in my life. And I don't know why it was such maybe because it was useful in the moment, but like sort of researching and defining mass and weight, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't the greatest student in school, and Like physics, I still can't do the math, but it helps me understand coordination, and it's a very useful thing to use day to day. So
Yes.
looking up even on physics websites and classroom stuff that's shared online, almost all the physics sites said the same thing about mass. So mass is just the stuff that makes up a body. And I love that these sites use the word stuff.
Stuff.
Everybody uses it, stuff. So whether we're talking bone or flesh or cells or subatomic
Mhm.
particles, it's the stuff, right? It's the material the body's made of. And so I always assumed mass had weight, but mass itself doesn't
Mm,
have weight.
good
So what
point.
is weight? Weight is the force of gravity acting on
Doesn't
the shape of the mass.
it doesn't exist if there's no gravity.
Right. So that's why the
Hmm.
mass of a human body can go into space where there's no gravity, but we don't fall apart. We don't disintegrate because mass always stays the same. But whether if we're in outer space, right, or even if we're in water, we don't have the same weight because gravity is not
Hmm.
acting on the mass the same way,
The same. Yeah.
right? So knowing that, like, what that means to me, and this is what you're talking about with feeling that connection to the ground,
Right.
is when we do kind of connect our body to gravity, we become aware of our weight distribution internally.
Yeah, that's when we do exercises like feel your feet. Where are you on your feet? That's kind of a grounding exercise, like, oh, yeah, I am connected
Yeah.
to the ground. And we
Or,
forget that, especially when we ride. We've talked about this a lot. Riders that are too up, the riders that
excuse
are
me. Sorry.
riders that are too up, their energy is not connected to the ground. So it's the same thing with the thumb pinky relationship, realizing that there's a balance there, front to back on the body.
Well, like you said, when we're sort of thumb, because the opposable thumb is one of the greatest parts of the human body. It gets a lot done, right? But when we overuse our opposable thumbs, it's like you said, it's sort of pulling, it creates an inward pull to the
An
body.
inward downward pull. It's all, and we're all about the opposite in our world. So,
Right. So that inward downward pull can also have the effect of not only tightening muscles around the chest, arms, and neck, but also shifting weight too
mhm.
far down or shifting weight. If we suddenly go, oh, I need to put my shoulders back, people tend to shift weight too far up. And so when our weight is too low or too high, what that's telling us is we're not in a vertical relationship to gravity. Our mass is now slightly out of alignment with gravity when our weight distribution is not equalized.
Right. And think about what happens if just right now you choose to put your hands on your keyboard and look down. What happens to your focus? You become tunnel vision
Right,
and you lose your peripheral vision, which that's a big issue in our world today, is loss of being in the present moment in the space you're in.
right.
Yeah, and that's like your accident with the horse. All of that is you're either in the past or the future, usually when an accident happens.
Oh, my slip and fall?
You're slip and fall.
Yeah, I was just in a hurry. Like
Yeah.
I was in a hurry, and that's the interesting thing, like I noticed about my own body weight overusing my right side. I'm
Mm.
right-handed. And it's like noticing my relationship to gravity through the pressure on my feet. I realized I always kept more weight to the outside of my feet compared to the
Mhm.
inside, right? And where I was overusing my right thumb, I was underusing my right big toe. And I was like, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So my weight would go constantly towards my right heel, And when I got in a hurry and maybe hadn't had enough coffee, and we had a lot of rain, so we had an algae buildup on the wash rack, I set down buckets that I was going to rinse out and made a quick pivot turn, and my weight habitually goes more to my right side.
There
So
you go.
there it was on a right-hand turn with a little bit too much weight to the right outside of my foot. Down I went. And I could just like replay the whole thing in slow
I bet.
motion because I know my own tendency where I tend to overload or distribute too much body weight, right? I know where it goes and it's so funny because if I'm not paying attention, that's the default setting.
Oh yeah.
I go,
Of
that's where
course,
it
it's your
goes.
safety. It's your safety net. What the brain wants is to not think about doing an activity. It's
Yeah, because
yeah, they
it
want an
takes a lot of
automatic response.
energy.
Yeah,
Right.
the brain wants an automatic response.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, and that's why habits of coordination become unconscious is because it's a more efficient way to get through life.
Exactly.
It's like,
Who
that's
wants to
why
practice every day for an hour for 3 years getting in and out of a chair?
I was
Who
just going
does
to talk
that?
about the chair. I
The
was
chair.
like,
Oh my gosh, in Alexander School, it's an hour a day getting in
right.
and out of a chair.
Or even the lessons I do to bring awareness to a rider, it'll be at the walk, typically on a horse. And I go, it helps to drop your stirrups, put your hands on the mane or the front of the saddle, and just take some time to start to be aware of what you feel. And that it on the one hand, it feels slow and boring. And on the other hand, it can feel overwhelming. Like there's a whole lot
Lot.
more going on than we pay attention to.
And it's so interesting when you, like you said, I worked with a rider last week who I've been working with for years, but I put her on the long lines, so I took away her hands.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my gosh, there is so much going on underneath me that I
Yes.
didn't even know was there." So
Yes.
it's the hands are so overdoing. We're so overdoing with our connection with our hands instead of talking to the connection of our body to the horse.
And talk about the pinky thing with the monkey swinging.
No, it's called it's called brachiation. You guys can look it up. Marsupials do not swing through the trees thumb first, because if you try that, if you grab with your thumb, there is no fascial connection to the back. It's all connected to the front, like we talked about.
Hmm.
But if you reach up, and everybody can do this, if they reach up and come across and grab with your pinky, you can feel that whole connection to your back.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you actually it's a spiral. You will
Yeah.
spiral. And that's how monkeys swing through the trees. They grab pinky first and that's how the body swings.
So they're kind of going up and towards the center, up and towards the
Exactly.
center. So you're getting a little bit of rotational force
Yes.
that's increasing the swing.
And the body loves spirals. It loves to access spirals, which we don't talk about much. As riders, we think it's a linear thing, and it's not. The horse, I don't know the fascial lines in the horse, but I bet they compare to the fascial connections. Like Thomas Meyer's book is excellent if you want to look at fascial connections. I'm sure there's one out there for horses too.
Well, in some of the, like, there's clinics on horse necropsies and things like that where you can actually do dissections. And when you peel back just the skin of the horse's back and hindquarter, it's nothing but white tissue.
All fascia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all fascia right under the skin, and then the muscles are deeper.
And they're finding now, which is fascinating to me, that the fascia system is a living, breathing, nerve innervated thing.
Hmm.
It's not just
It's
white,
just it's another
dead
soft
tissue.
tissue,
It's another level of communication in the body.
right? Just like all the other soft tissues.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, and I think Thomas Meyer's work is fantastic.
It's,
Fascial
it is.
fascia trains and His
The anatomy
website's really
trains. Yeah,
good.
his website's good. And I've taken a couple of workshops with him in my lifetime. He's really knowledgeable.
Yeah. And I don't end up talking about spiral motions much because if you're thinking three-dimensionally, and it's kind of even, that's a big leap for a lot of riders
Hmm.
and guiding their horses, is just thinking three-dimensionally instead of one-dimensionally.
Yeah, the linear way of
Right.
just.
And so one-dimensional thinking is more forward. I need more forward. Right? That's the
That's
answer to
true.
everything. I need more forward. And maybe two-dimensional thinking at best would be inside leg to outside rein. You're
Oh my
thinking about
goodness.
both sides of the body, but to me, that's still one dimension. It's just the lateral dimension instead of forward is the horizontal dimension. But I go, there's always three dimensions to a body. And if we're
Yeah.
not balancing left, right, forward, back, and up and down, we're going to have some parts that are overused and some parts that are underused.
Right, just like the left-handed person and the right-handed person,
Right.
the same type. And I
Or
even,
overusing the thumb and underusing the pinky.
yeah, or the whole thought, if we could just change our thinking that your grip is in the middle of your hand,
Yeah.
not gripping with your fingers and making a fist. It's the fingers are soft and straight, and that's where your power is. That's where I put the water bucket
Is in the palm.
is in my palm,
Hmm.
right just barely above my thumb. I rest it there and I don't even close my hand around it. I just lay it there. And I even say that another Facebook group I was on about bodybuilders and getting tennis elbow. It's the grip. It's gripping so hard
With the
that
fingers.
with the fingers, and the fingers just can't take it. That's overuse.
Yeah, when you start adding weight to the equation, that's
Hmm.
going to become problematic faster.
Yeah. Our golfer's elbow, same thing. It's over tensing of the fingers.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I know Jana, who was a AT instructor I worked with as
Mhm.
well, she went and did a class with an Alexander Technique instructor who did traditional rock laying to make rock walls like they do in Ireland and England,
Wow.
where you're actually not using cement or mortar, you're laying rocks to build walls,
Wow.
right? Or
What
fences.
an art.
Yeah. And this the pinky thumb, the using the palm of the hand, the using the strength of the fingers
Mhm.
so that you weren't overusing your arm joints or killing your low back or your knees. He had definite strategies for how to lift and move pretty substantially heavy rocks and doing it all day.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And
And
that
it's
there is strength in our fingers, but without that connection throughout the whole body,
right.
we can overuse it. Like if we're gripping rather than, I like what you always say is your arms are for just reaching and moving things,
David
right?
Norman said that one day, and he said, "Your arm's just there to get your hand where it needs to go."
Right.
I just thought that was priceless. I was like, "Oh my God, you're right. That's all it's there for." So,
Exactly.
yeah,
But knowing just enough that having this pain issue really sort of made me more aware of overusing. Like
right.
obviously the inside of my arms and my thumb, even though I'm not gripping, and certainly with reins, I have very loose fingers. So what's interesting is twice when I've hurt my shoulder, the hardest part of riding is getting on and off. But I
Yes.
go, once I'm up there, even
You're
with a
fine.
rein contact, I'm fine
Right.
because it's my balance is coming through my back and my legs, not through my arms.
Right.
And
And another thing, we've said this over and over, but I'll reiterate, anytime we contract, say your hands,
hmm
it shuts down all the proprioceptors for your arm to get information. So you can't hear your horse through
right,
your
the
hands.
translation is you can't feel what the horse is doing because
Exactly.
you're on an internal loop of what you're doing.
That's the tunnel vision, the collapsing of the front of the body,
Well, or any tightening of the muscles.
any
So
muscles. Yeah,
it's like if we want to feel the texture of something, you can't grip something and
right.
feel the texture of it at the same time. You have to supple the muscles in order to get the sensation of a texture.
Exactly. We played a game in Alexander School where we were blindfolded and had to stand there with open hands and allow people to put things in our hands
Ooh, did
with
anybody do peeled grapes?
and not clench your fingers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very you really have to really have to pause and inhibit the reactory it's subconscious. Like you said, this is a fetal response to clench your fists.
Well, it's one of the first things babies do is they
Yeah,
clench your fingers.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
very,
to let go of that is not easy.
no, or even to mentally redirect it. But
Yeah.
what surprised me is before I got to talk to you about it, like just the idea, just the thought of could my thumbs work less? Could my pinkies do more? And
Hmm.
that was all I thought about, and it brought physical relief to my daily
Isn't that
chores.
amazing?
Like that blows my mind.
It's
But
and
the
that's
body,
why I can't explain what I do because it's that. How
yeah,
do you explain that?
no, you have to experience it.
You have to experience it to know, to
Yeah,
have a subtle connection to it.
absolutely.
Yeah. So great topic to, to throw at me today.
Thumbs and pinkies.
Thumbs and
I knew
pinkies.
you could just roll with that.
Oh my God. I get
And I
all
had a
excited.
personal reason I wanted to cover this topic today. And it's so interesting. Like I started, if I have a musculoskeletal pain issue, kind of Googling, almost like doing a GPS, right? So I'm Googling human body parts until
Of
I can
course you
locate,
are.
right? Because to me, there's no better way to really get to know your own anatomy from the inside out. Because I don't know how many years I've looked at pictures of anatomy, human anatomy, right? And still, one of the big, like, mind-blowing, penny-dropping moments in one of my early AT lessons was that my shoulder joint, the ball, which is the top of the humerus, fits into the scapula, is where the socket is. And I don't know why I still in my brain was picturing my ball and socket shoulder joint somehow
Out
on this
here.
on the side of my body,
The same thing with the hip. People
right?
think the hip is located on the side of the body. No, 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 no. It's very deep in the crease of your pants.
Right forward
It
in front.
forward. It's in the
Hmm.
front and it's very deep and it's not that they're not that far apart. If you think of your sit bones, that's where your femur fits into the socket. It's all lined up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
it's very deep.
it's where your pants fold. It's not
Yeah,
sort of on the side.
it's not on the side. And if you just redirect that thought, it can change the way you move, the way you ride, all of that. Just
Yeah.
like you finding the pinky. It's like, whoa, well, that's different.
Yes. And when it brings relief to overused parts,
Mhm.
that's what I think helps our brain hang on to it. When it just feels
Mm.
weird, it's a little hard to digest, a little hard to
Mhm.
integrate because it feels weird. And weird just means not normal. That's the brain is
It's
just
not the
saying
setup
it's
in the head.
it's
Yeah,
unfamiliar use of your body,
right.
right? But when there's a bit of discomfort, oh boy, howdy, does that have some meaning all of a
Isn't that
sudden?
amazing
And you don't
what we
forget
can
it.
change?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it doesn't go to the pain threshold.
No, and I think I didn't Google it this time, but I could feel, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast. I go, there's some kind of weird connection between my thumb and my shoulder that I was unaware of before.
Oh, we haven't talked about it really.
No, and I had no idea that the tendons from the thumb go up to the elbow.
Oh, people don't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the when people come to me and say, "Gosh, my elbow's killing me," and we just they're using that as a locator information. People have to realize that it's usually not a joint problem. It's usually a soft tissue use problem.
Yes.
Like my knee's been hurting. It's not my knee, it's the tendon that goes over the top of the knee that's the problem.
Ah,
So figuring it out at that level makes a huge difference on your movement.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I guess anything final you want to add with thumbs and pinkies?
Thumbs and pinkies.
Thumbs and
Woo!
pinkies, and this
I
is like
love
the
to hear people play with it and get back to us and
like
share with us.
surfers use this thumb and pinky, right? Everything's good.
Do, do, do,
Things
do.
are fine.
Do,
Life
do,
is
do. But
good.
but playing with just arriving at your desk with your palms up and staying in the room and just turn your wrists over.
Yeah, which
You're
takes
going to find
less
out so much information about your position in front of your desk.
interesting.
Yeah, you're going to have to change quite a bit.
Well, it doesn't take long to just give yourself a second to arrive that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just arrive at your desk. And I say the same thing to riders. Just arrive on your horse.
Yeah, like one of my favorite questions, it sort of changes the tone of the lesson immediately, is right off the mounting block before your horse is warmed up. What do you feel?
I
Because,
That's exactly, we do the same thing. I
yep.
tell people just sit there. Is it you? Is it the horse? What do you feel?
So the first 10 steps off the mounting block is where our patterns are the strongest and the horse's patterns are the strongest. And so that those first 10 steps, as soon as we're on the horse or in the cart, and people are usually thinking about the whole training session, so they're not
Hmm.
present for those first 10 steps. And I go, that's where all the information is going to be the most obvious for the
Exactly.
entire session.
And I'm getting ready, as I've shared with you to before, to take a class on quite a few classes on dealing with people with trauma. And that not being present, like you said, is huge.
Oh, yeah,
Be-
because humans, we can be in the past or the future all the time.
yes. And the
Hmm.
horse is always present.
Yeah.
So it might be a good idea to hang out with the horse.
Yeah, horses help us a
Yes,
lot.
they do.
Yeah. Because if we're not paying attention, they get louder.
They get louder. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love it if people would experiment, their struggles or their challenges or whatever they find.
Or just to be curious. Like I
Mm.
started with curiosity, not knowing what I was going to do, and go, what would it feel like if I focused on reaching just sort of with my pinky first?
Right.
It's not going to change the construction of my hand. It's just a
It's not gonna,
slightly
you're not gonna
different
lose a limb.
use, right? And so just that thought and being aware of it every time I'm reaching for something, is my pinky more involved or my thumb? When you just that little tiny bit of awareness or conscious direction of our own body actually changes coordination throughout your entire body. And it
That's
shifts your weight distribution, your relationship with gravity.
that's how people heal.
Hmm.
That's how that's my work. That's how
Well,
people
that's how you
heal.
find more ease of motion, no matter what you're
Exactly.
doing.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So we better wrap it up. But
Okay.
thanks,
Fun.
everybody, for joining us for Thumbs and Pinkies. And if you're still here, please like, share, subscribe, all the usual yada, yada, yada. It does help. And we thank you for being here.
Yeah. Give
And
us some feedback with what you find out.
Yeah, we love comments, and
Yeah,
especially if you try out anything we talk about in these podcasts, we love to hear about it.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
all of it. Thanks,
Okay, so
everybody.
thanks everybody. Look forward to
Bye.
seeing you next time. Bye.